So we have Prutu Mehta over here online. So how many of y'all know Prutu Mehta? Let us see. All the people who have joined, I'm sure few of you at least, or rather many of you would know him. योगेश your autograph जरूर दिलवाएंगे उससे तुम्हारे पास next time he comes to Bombay. Umlingla, definitely yes, Kalpana. I think everyone knows him as Umlingla Baba because he was the first person to, the biking community to go to Umlingla, and when the roads were also not completely done. So, and post that, due to some reasons, it was closed for the tourists. So we cannot go to Umlingla right now. That's so bad. He is pretty much known as Umlingla Baba because he went to Umlingla and then it came in the papers and all that, and तब से सब उसको Umlingla Baba बोलते हैं. Yeah, I think if anyone sees you or doesn't see you, they already know who Prutu Mehta is. So I don't have to really put up your face there. So without wasting much time, Prutuda, tell me in short about you.
I am a biker who's been riding from almost past 20 years, but basically, initial, I was, into motocrossing and autocrossing from 1995 to 2001 mostly. But then, no, things turned out, didn't turn in my favor, and I had to leave everything for this, as a bread and butter. So, over 10 years of the riding thing and was behind my career. And 2011, I started again riding. Not basically riding, but I started participating in drag races. So 2011 and 12, I've done drag races. And then 2013, maybe my family wasn't so comfortable because having family, kids, and at this age, almost about 30 to 32 years, 32 years, yeah, 30, 32 years. So they are comfortable by getting into competitive things, risking your life because you got some responsibility behind. But then I finally thought of getting into riding. In 2013, I bought a Royal Enfield Bullet and started riding a small club. 2014, I did my first Ladakh trip. I was leading about 11 riders together with the whole circuit from Srinagar to Manali. And that was 2013 and 2014. Then since then I've been traveling Ladakh, riding Ladakh every year almost, except 2016 where I had a small accident and broke my ankle. But I've been riding every year. Sometimes I was 2017, 2018 in between twice I've been to Ladakh in normal season and winters also. We've done the winter expedition of Ladakh. So this is me, and I have two kids. I have a petrol pump. We are into some coffee distribution also. So whenever I get some spare time, I've got a couple of friends who help me out. Same field who help me out to do my expeditions, and they take care of my business from back end. So that is one lucky thing I have. So with their help, I keep on riding. That's it.
So अच्छा इसके लिए पेट्रोल पंप चलाते हो तो you don't have a problem with petrol in your bike?
ऐसा नहीं, वही टैंकर ले जाऊंगा पूरा रात में पीछे बैकअप के बाद पेट्रोल तो डालना ही पड़ेगा पैसे देके. So
नहीं तो आपका लिंक्स होगा ना हर पेट्रोल पंप पे?
नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता यार. So they want about 60,000 petrol pumps in India. So difficult होता है हर जगह लिंक मिलना. Though I am a senior vice president for Telangana Petroleum Association in our state, but still उतना बड़ा उतना लंबा wide network में contact नहीं होता because there are 60,000 petrol pumps throughout India.
Correct. हाँ, but कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा बहुत तो लिंक होता ही रहेगा. हमारा लिंक करा दीजिए.
अच्छा ठीक है, नेक्स्ट टाइम करा दूंगा लिंक आपको. पहले मुझे मिल जाए लिंक कोई.
So Prutuda, many people know you have been known for doing adventure out of I mean, adventure itself is something that we do out of our comfort zone, but you have gone a little more beyond that comfort zone. What actually pushed you to do that?
Actually, 2013, 14, and 15, I was riding with normal rides with some club and all. 2000, and I was a very big fan of Deepak Gupta, the DG, the Wanderer of Extreme Motor Adventure. So I used to keep on
Mm-hmm.
seeing his Facebook update because 2017 he started his what do you call his YouTube channel. So before that, I was no, yes, I used to regularly follow him and one Mr. Narendra Kumar Gautam, scooterist of Ladakh. So I used to follow these both people. And
Okay.
fortunately, in 2017, I got in contact with Deepak. And
Uh-huh.
2016, I had an accident. June, I had an accident with an ankle fracture. But I was that time I was a little desperate to know for a good ride and long ride. So I had a talk with Deepak. Fortunately, I got his number. I spoke to him, and he was having an expedition called Winter Spiti in February 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and he agreed to know let me in for the ride. I was the first ride together, and we did it in February 2017. And there were a lot of questions in my back of mind because I had a fracture in my ankle, so there was no my foot movement was not proper. And maneuvering
Mm-hmm.
motorcycle in snow is no your most of the time is your legs which are going to support you in snow, not your brakes,
Correct.
not your external. You need to crawl with the motorcycle where no the throttle exhaust is. So I had all that doubt, but Deepak told me one thing that Prutu bhai aap kar sakte ho. Before that I was a Prutuda, I was only Prutu bhai. So after this ride
Yeah.
I was named as Prutuda by a Bengali guy.
Okay.
Uh, so you know, I know you can do it. आप कर सकते हो, आप साथ चलो. And that is how we started. In February, myself and a guy from Kerala called George Antonio, Akshay Jain, Arib Khan, and Avinash Barnawal. They're from Delhi. We all started right
Okay.
towards Spiti, and we completed that whole Spiti belt till Losar and came back.
Mm-hmm.
And that is how the journey started. Then we had our next ride with Deepak was on September 2017 itself was a ride of unexplored Kashmir,
Mm-hmm.
so, wherein we did Gurez, Chikwali, Tangdar, Chandigam, Titwal border. Our border is inside of what actually Bada it's called a border. It is called line of control. What is it? India-Pakistan line of control. So that is Titwal border. So we've done that. Then we've done Toshe Maidan. It's a beautiful meadow which is just now they are developing the road like Dudhpatri. There's another meadow
Mm.
called Toshe Maidan. So we've done that, and then from there we completed the Ladakh belt, and that's how everything started. Then the Winter Ladakh came in. Winter Ladakh took about almost 4 months of planning. So we had a lot of issues. Hoga, nahi hoga, and fortunately we completed the Winter Ladakh, and almost we were riding, when you start in the morning, it should be about 18 to 20 degrees. In the afternoon, it should come to 15, 14, 15 degrees. And by evening, again, it should come to 20, 21 degrees minus. So we are
Wow.
riding 8 to 10 hours every day on those roads, the terrains. The minus degree of
Nice.
average 18 degrees.
So
Yeah.
the Prutuda, like, how do you manage like minus 20 degrees? I've been there to Ladakh, but minus 20 degrees में कैसे चलाते हो यार? गाड़ी चलती कैसे है? I mean, with even the oxygen being so less, and then you're like freezing. I think I've ridden in -5, but no, not in -20 for sure.
For this, no, we had a lot of preparations, getting a lot of things to protect ourselves from cold. But no, one army guy betters in Leh he told me, no amount of protection is going to save you until you are
Absolutely, and
mentally
that is
ready
why.
to. Until you are mentally ready to accept it that you have to do this, you have to bear it. That's the only thing which can take you ahead. Otherwise, you cannot do it.
So, Prutuda, like, can you? I mean, you have ridden on the snow. I have not ridden on the snow. I've been on the road, but बाजू में सब snow था. So I know it gets difficult with that thin sheet of ice on the road. But when you're riding in actual snow, what is it that you need to manage your bike? I mean, you don't attach those spoke, the wheels,
No,
I mean, the chains on the wheels and all that. How do you ride it? How
no.
do you manage to stay on
It's
the
like,
road without falling?
it's like, riding on the snow is, when you start your motorcycle, when you start your riding on the snow, you have to, judge the momentum, seeing the road ahead about 500 meters, 300 meters ahead. What are the inclines and
Hmm.
declines? So you need to sync
Okay.
with it and hold on to a throttle, because once you're on the move, you
Hmm.
cannot play around with throttle, because the moment you open a throttle in snow, the
Hmm.
bike will get stuck there, because it is one-sided pressure from the behind. The
Right.
weight, you will get stuck there. So generally,
Uh,
what we do, we have a basic judgment of what amount of throttle would take me there. So that is how
hmm.
we ride like that. And what happens, the moment you feel that the existing throttle is exhausting, you need to crawl with the bike. The best way is
Correct.
start crawling, because in a crawl there are three-sided pressure there, with two with a foot and one with the
Hmm.
tire. So when there
Hmm.
is three-sided pressure, the bike will not get stuck anywhere. One. And when you're approaching the declines,
Hmm.
you need to see, look around the corners and the sides where you have good amount of loose snow. And
Hmm.
you cannot, hold on to your brakes. You have to only manage it with the throttle, clutch, and gear.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Your brakes, the moment
And
you hit
you,
your brake, you're gone.
hmm.
So the very beginning of starting, you to maintain that momentum and speed, judging that what speed I will be going there. And in case, suppose you feel, that the bike is exceeding and it's going out of your control. So
Hmm.
wherever there is low slow, just put the bike inside that. So at least you will have a halt. The bike will get halted there, instead of trying to break it up. Because the moment you try to break, it will go. It will slide. And once it slides, you cannot stop it.
Correct. So, for people who have joined a little late, Prutuda is having some problem with the video, so we are not able to see him, but we are able to see him. I mean, hear him clearly. That's why we have continued with this interview. But I'm sure all of you can see him on his Insta ID, his face, and also on his Facebook profile. Uh, so I'm sorry for that technical issue, but he's loud and clear. Uh, so we are continuing with the interview of his. So Prithula, there was I mean you know Ladakh like the back of your hand. मतलब आप हर बार जाते रहते हो, हर बार कुछ ना कुछ नया रूट लेते हो, कोई कोई नया पास में जाते हो. How do you find that out?
Basically, though, since I've been a lot of times to Ladakh, I've got a couple of good friends in Ladakh. So we
Okay.
keep speaking to them, and you come to know about any new roads opening up and any new paths which have been recently constructed, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how we plan. So, like Kaksangla and Hurla, we did it in November 2018. So that was
Mm-hmm.
also a less discovered road by riders or travelers also. So that
Mm-hmm.
was just it was not a planned ride. My friend had a hotel there in Leh, and he was is calling us to have a look at the property, and we planning to do Siachen base camp. But if
Wow.
things changed overnight, we thought we'll do Winter Ladakh too. That's how. We got not nothing at all planned. Within an hour, we just planned the ride, and we did it. We did the second part of Ladakh, which was from Leh to Tanglangla to Sokar, Somorori to Mahe. From Mahe to we did. There are two lakes in between on this road and two passes. One is called Yeye, Yeye So. Then
Okay.
comes the Hurri. Then comes the Hurla Pass. After
Okay.
Hurla, you cross over to Kaksangla Pass. That's almost an
Okay.
altitude of 17,000 change, almost say about Changla's height.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, after Kaksangla, you come towards Mirpal So. That's also lake.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Okay.
that road gets down a few kilometers before Chushul. There's a trail. From there, you approach towards Chushul and Pangong. So we did this in
Wow.
November 2018.
Okay.
Mostly our rides
And
were
and
unplanned only.
how did the all famous Umlingla happen?
See, I'll tell you, there are a lot of rumors going around, and would not like to justify more on it. But the thing is, me and Deepak, we had completed our unexplored Kashmir in September 2017, and we
Hmm.
came towards the Leh. Umlingla was in back of mind from almost 1.5 years since we had that information, but we were not able to
Hmm.
trace out the location and all. So we
Okay.
had no hopes. We just rode from Kashmir to Leh and no, just sitting across and having a cup of tea. And we got a message from Rohit, my friend, Rohit Mishra.
Hmm.
तो भाई कहाँ पर हो, क्या हो, ले में हो, तो कल कल मिलना है सुबह. तो हमने कहा मिलते हैं, आ जाइए. तो क्या प्लान है, तो उमलिंगला. तो हमने कहा भाई साथ ले चलो. तो बोला भाई साथ चलना है, उसीलिए पिंक किया है. And that's how it happened. We been to Hanle the first day. Second day we crossed over Fotila, where no permission is required at time. And we got down to the Fotile village where there was a BRO camp. We
Okay.
had our lunch at the BRO camp. We were hosted by BRO. We had a lunch at at BRO camp, and from BRO we did Omlingla. It's about 10, 12 kilometers. Another roughly about 30 kilometers, 32 kilometers from the Fotila village. So,
Okay.
and we were also assisted by BRO because they showed us the road, actual road. We only had,
Hmm.
we are assuming it should be here somewhere.
Hmm.
So, and we did that, and by night we reached about 40 kilometers before Hanle. There was a village called Udungle because we had to hunt a lot for Umlingla. So we had a lot of time. We have wasted a lot of time there. So we
Okay.
had to and it was night, almost 8 o'clock. We reached Udungle village after crossing the Nurbula Pass. So there are two passes there. One is when you go from Potila and you exit
Hmm.
towards Nurbula Pass. So we did the
Hmm.
Nurbula Pass. There's the Udungle village, and we had to stay back at the Udungle BRO camp because it was always late night, about 8 o'clock. And the road from Udungle to Hanle was there was no road actually. Actually, it was a trail. So
Hmm.
we thought of not taking risk on that road because we've never been on that road before. So that is how Umlingla happened. The next day we reached Hanle, and from Hanle, yeah, Pangong, and then back to Delhi.
Cool. So you went even before the road was actually laid out there.
Yes, yes. It was under construction.
Huh.
We
But it
went. We
wasn't
went
like
on.
complete.
No, 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 no. There are two river crossings. About
Okay.
each one should be at about almost about 70 to 80 meters long. So we
That's a
have to
long
cross.
one.
Yes, very long one. I don't know one place what happened. No, when the first river we approached, I just
Huh.
know pumped in my motorcycle in on the river. I thought चलो cross कर लेते हैं बोल के, है ना, full जोश में. And what happened was there was a big stone which stuck
Oh.
between my motorcycle and the chassis. And now my
Mm-hmm.
both the tires are on the air in the waters. They're not connected to the ground, and I am stuck there.
Oh.
I am standing, no, almost. I am my right knee is on the seat, and I am standing holding the motorcycle.
Oh.
Because it was almost about no 6 inches on the ground level. The motorcycle was up. Oh, then immediately Rohit came down and helped me out. So that was one
Mm-hmm.
adventure. And while coming back from Umlingla, since it was October the 1st, and what do you call winters just arrived at the time.
Hmm.
5 o'clock in the evening, it was about minus 8 to 9 degrees, and we were almost half of our body was till our thigh. We were totally wet. That was one
That
thing which
that would
screwed
have,
us a lot.
yeah, that would have been super bad. I mean, all
Yeah,
wet and cold, freezing.
and I was wearing those Alpine Star big boots, so they're totally wet, and I was not able to at least no I apply my brakes also.
You have done so many. You do at least like I think 2 or 3 major rides in a year, correct? How
Yes,
do you
yes.
budget? How do you budget it out? Like it's not easy to spend like. thousands and thousands on a tour, how do you budget, or how do you take out time, and how do you take out time that much to go around?
See, one thing is, for first is I would on my rides and time I would like to discuss about family also. See, because you need a supportive family to give you so many
Absolutely.
breaks. So what
Right.
I do is, I have about at least two expeditions every year. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever I have my motorcycle expedition, post the expedition, post my ride, I make sure that I at least have one trip with my family with every ride. That is how my family. I balance my family and my rides. So one trip on a motorcycle, one trip with the family. One thing. Secondary budgeting is like
Your voice is breaking, Prudhuda.
is it clear now?
Yeah, better.
So secondary planning the budgeting is like I've worked for about 10 12 years, made some small pockets of income. Uh, so I've made some small rental income sort of things for myself. So
Mm-hmm.
dedicated everything to family. I've kept two, three, source of income for myself. So all that gets accumulated in my bank, and whenever I have a ride, I utilize it.
चलो बैंक पे अड्डा डालते हैं हम लोग.
नहीं आई ऑल्सो स्टे मैं मतलब 20 साल पिछले 15-20 साल से मेरी यही सोच थी कि बिकॉज फ्यूचर में आई वांट टू राइड इंटरनेशनली ऑल्सो. So this is what my plan, and I'm slowly, developing that. Leaving apart my domestic and other expenditure, I should have some other savings wherein I can do my rides. This is
करेक्ट,
how I manage.
एब्सोल्युटली. लाइक हाँ, खुद का पैशन जीना है तो you have to save up for yourself and see how best you can enjoy with the money that you have saved with you all through the
And
years.
with the business part, it runs on autopilot. I've got some old employees, and everything goes on well. But every day morning when I get up, the rides also. I need to keep on calling and knowing things. And as I told you, I've got a couple of friends in and around my gas station who are good friends. So they
Mm-hmm.
manage my back end things when I'm not there. So they take care of my business. So that is one lucky I'm that I've got good friends who take care of business.
Yeah,
So
you're
this is how it
lucky.
goes.
Nice.
Hmm.
That's really great for you. So, Prudhuda, apart from, you have done Winter Ladakh twice or thrice, I guess. Uh,
Twice. Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah.
And you have done Kashmir as well. But in 2018, you
Hmm.
you did extreme ride. Can you talk about
Extreme. 2018, I did. It was actually, it was extreme summer desert ride, right?
correct the summer desert
Yeah.
ride? How
That
did you
all.
manage that heat?
Actually, the plan was, what happened. Me and Deepak, after completing our Winter Ladakh one, okay,
Mm-hmm.
in February. I was just sitting because and we were chatting on a WhatsApp kya kar raha hai, kya and all. Well, we have to have a different sort of ride. So it would be very difficult to manage winter. Cold you can somehow manage, but heat is something very dangerous.
Right,
Uh,
exactly. It's pretty dangerous.
yes. So then it all started with the small thing that चलो कुछ extreme करते हैं. Then in May we decided to do the whole circuit of Rajasthan, wherein Deepak was doing his all India ride. So
Okay.
we added our ride to the all India ride, and uh, we had also two female riders. One actually you were in to join in that ride,
Yeah,
right?
I was to join it, but I couldn't, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, no, you couldn't join. So then we had Vaishali Bhagat and Neeta Chaudhary from Bombay, Vaishali Bhagat from
Okay,
Jaipur.
right.
We did this ride, started from Delhi to Jaipur, Jaipur to Bikaner, Jaisalmer, and Longewala, Tanot Mata, and the Munabao.
Absolute deserts.
Yes. And It was like, we were almost, when we start in the morning, it should be about 38, 39 degrees. And once it is 12 o'clock, the temperature shoots up like hell. It's almost 50 plus, post 12
50
o'clock,
plus.
50 plus.
Oh wow. That's like, I mean, how did you ride 50 plus? How did you even stand out there on your bike with the gears and the helmet and shoes? And I mean, how did you do that? And that needs a lot of willpower. I can understand the cold, but not the heat.
Heat is
Definitely
what,
not.
no, we were not totally drained out. We were almost having about 12 to 15 liters of water a day in a ride, on a ride. Yeah.
इतना पानी कहाँ कैरी करते थे सर?
कारी नहीं, क्या करते थे, नो, we used to have at least a break in 40-50 minutes. उसके बगैर you
Okay.
can't do it because, हाँ, तो, and we can't have cold water. So वही गर्म
Right.
पानी पीना पड़ता था हमें. गर्म
But
पानी
that
पीना
would be
पड़ता
like
था.
boiling.
Yes.
तो boiling
If
पानी
I
पीते
if I
थे?
if, हाँ, ऑलमोस्ट गर्म पानी था. बॉयल नहीं बोल सकते, लेकिन इट वाज लाइक, नो, गर्म, थोड़ी सी, नो, लूक वार्म वाटर, जो चाय पीते हम, हल्की सी गर्म होती है. दैट साइड ऑफ
हाँ.
टेम्परेचर था वो, मतलब वो गर्म गर्म था. एंड इफ यू डोंट हैव द वाटर, एंड यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस इन
Yeah.
summers.
It gets sucked out. Yeah.
Yes. So we had to have water and whatever, because moment you get we have the cold water, then you know what happens if you have cold water in that heat. So normal
Correct.
water जो गर्म पानी मिलता था वही पीना पड़ता था हमें. And on the record which he recorded was at 3:30 p.m. we recorded was 54.7 on the Munabao road.
मुझे ऐसे ही गर्मी हो रही है.
तो
टेम्परेचर सुन के गर्मी हो रही है.
so then we thought that if it is 54.7 at 3:30, it should be surely about 56 degrees in about 1 o'clock in the mid of afternoon. So
Yeah,
we catch it at
absolutely.
56 degrees.
Phew.
And at Tanot Mata temple also, we're trying to take a picture from the camera. The phone got a no caution on the phone. Cannot take picture overheated. The phones got overheated. Though GoPros were not performing well because of the heat.
Right. I mean, yeah, even the battery would get so very heated at almost, 55 degrees,
Yes.
56 degrees.
Yes. And post that ride,
That's
I had
amazing. That's amazing.
And one thing I would share, the fact was, the women were more stronger than us.
Okay. So yeah, that's
At a
hats
point,
off to them then.
yes, because at a point we drained out, but those two women, those two riders were they were mentally strong, and they did the whole ride without any issues. Actually,
Then
we
I
were
need to
doubting
hear
that
the story from them as well.
you should, because, and for at least for Vaishali, she is from Jaipur, so she's quite addicted to that temperature. But Neeta from Bombay, Neeta Chaudhary, so that was very tough for her. We thought it would be tough, but no, she performed well. Better than I would say.
Great. Awesome. So yeah, we will get Neeta Chaudhary sometimes online and check with her how did she manage to better the two of you as well.
It was a lovely ride, though it was a little tough, but we really enjoyed it. The whole day riding in plus 50 degrees, and lot of other issues we had. Post the ride also, we had some health issues also, because we are riding almost 8 days on about 50 degrees of temperatures. 8 days.
So how did you, after coming back, how did you manage your health?
After coming back, what happened? I was sick for about 2 to 3 days, but I managed. Things like, I had heat boils on my thighs, and all those issues were there, because you keep on sitting for 8 hours on the seat. So that is the part, we get moist, so we get moist also, and with the heat. So those are small little issues, and I had severe fever post the ride. But 3-4 days I was all okay.
Okay, great. So you typically need acclimatization not only when you're on high altitudes, but also when you're getting into the deserts or in extreme weather. Agree?
Yes, you have to.
That's a good learning actually, Prithuda, because people don't venture out in the summers. Even I mean Mumbai, it goes to what 36, 30, maximum 38 degrees or something, and people literally dread to get out into the heat. But doing a ride at 50 plus degrees is something really out of the way. And hats off to you and the other co-riders as well. I mean, it's
No,
an
thank
amazing
you.
thing that you're. So, Pruthula, all of this put together, there was one question which someone asked, or rather, Yogesh asked, okay,
Hmm.
how did you get into watch collections?
Watch collection was, my actually it was my father's passion. But
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, he couldn't do it in his life because of his whole health issues and other issues also. So I
Mm-hmm.
used to go to, like Bombay has a Chor Bazaar. So
Uh-huh.
Hyderabad also has small Chor Bazaar sort of a thing. So every Thursday we have a market there. I used to
Uh-huh.
go with him every time to the market and see watches and old things and antique stuffs and all.
Uh,
So it was my father's passion. All of a sudden, no, I thought of collecting watches in 2002, and that's
hmm.
how I got into watch collection.
So,
I
how
would
many
say
watches have you collected?
I've got about 200 plus watches,
$200
wristwatches.
plus watches.
Yes,
सब maintain करते हो? All are
सब
running?
maintain होता है. Yes, all are running.
Oh,
Some are about
wow.
80 years, 100 years old also.
100 years old. I need to see that one day.
Sure, you can come next time. I'll show you.
Sure, sure. Pakka done. So, Prutuda, people are asking like if you're of a shorter height, how do you manage
Hmm.
the ghats and how do you manage riding on the mountains?
See, if you like, I'll tell you, this is a basic question I get a lot of from a lot of riders because I'm about 5'6" and riding a Tiger.
Huh.
It's all about balancing the motorcycle with your foot. So what happens, whenever you are on a low speed and you feel that you need to put down your leg and balance the motorcycle on an uneven surface.
Hmm.
So shift your body on one side, either left or right,
Hmm.
and hold the weight towards that side only. Then it wouldn't
Hmm.
be a problem. Secondary, when you are maneuvering your motorcycle at about 4, 5, 10 kmph, try to
Hmm.
put on some additional throttle. And instead of managing with your foot, balance your motorcycle with the clutch and the throttle.
Hmm.
When you do that, now
So
the bike.
whether your feet touch the ground or not, it's all
Hmm,
about balancing and using your skills to manage the bike. Correct?
yes, yes. On a lower speed, I would say no. You have to manage it with the clutch and the throttle. So
Mm-hmm.
initially it will puzzle how to do it. But when you start doing it slowly, you will get a grip on it. Like we've done
Correct.
Linkshed village the last year, which the road were opened, and there were no road. Actually, they were only the road with they had cut the roads, and the
Uh-huh.
hairpin bends were not properly done. It's only they have cut the roads, they're not properly balanced also. So
Hmm.
on such terrain, what happens? When you're on a decline,
Uh,
the rear wheel starts spinning towards one side.
right.
So that was a challenge. But as I told you, you shift your body towards one side, put the whole weight one side, and that's how you tend to manage the motorcycle. It's not about height; it's about only balancing the technique on the motorcycle. And secondly, I would say, and a lot of people have that braking issue
Hmm.
on the ghats and the dirt roads. So dirt roads, a lot of अरे भाई हम ब्रेक मारता है skid होता है. See, on the ghats or on the road also, on the highways also, I would always say, whenever you are on high speed, coming down to a lower speed, with along your about 40% should be your brake and 60% should
Mm-hmm.
be your gear engine braking. What do you say? That
Mm-hmm.
is the best jugaad and that is the best ABS you can find. shifting your gears, downshift. So what happens
Oh,
when you
that's
have
a
the
very good
downshift?
tip.
Yes, downshift. What happens in downshift? You don't tend to lose the control of the motorcycle. The motorcycle doesn't skid. But if you're
Right.
only relying on your emergency brake, then no, you may end up sliding out. The best thing is to manage your motorcycle with your gearing. It is pretty difficult on starting, but you start doing it on lower speed. Try to slowly shift down the downshift and leave the clutch and see. So once you do it about 1 week or 10 days, you continue to try, you will get that rhythm how to manage the clutch and the gear. On the ghats also, I would prefer always do use your engine braking rather the traditional brakes. That is a desi ABS, I would call.
Awesome jugaad that was, Rutuja. And yeah, there was one more thing that I wanted to ask you is you rode on the
Hmm.
snow, you are good on the roads. How did you manage the desert?
Desert, the whole thing was new to us, and lot of places,
I mean, I saw that
would
photographs of yours where you were literally throttling it out on the desert.
uh, on when you initially what happens, your tire is stuck. So you need to crawl with the motorcycle. Do not put your weight on the motorcycle. Slowly leave the clutch and try to crawl with the motorcycle. Once you are into momentum, you come to a particular throttle. I told you which you do in snow also. A calculated throttle, and just keep on going on that.
Yeah.
So as I told you, it is little difficult to come out of that sand. So you need to you need to lighten your bike. Do not put your weight on the bike. Start crawling with the bike. Okay.
Okay.
You have to start crawling with the bike. Once your motorcycle is into a momentum, put in a fixed second gear, and lock the throttle to one position, and that will keep on.
Okay.
I think it's going again. That will keep on going. You need to balance it. So
Okay.
the thing is, once you are into a momentum, don't stop. Because the moment you stop, you're stuck there.
Yeah, because then your legs will also get get inside the sand, right?
Yes. So once you are on momentum, carry on the momentum till you come out of that sand. It's all the momentum play.
That's great. That's a great tip, Pruthuda. So, Pruthuda, what is one thing that you would advise all the riders to do?
One thing I always say is on a ride when you're on a highway, okay, there are some basic principles to follow. It's not about your speed, which which you can cover up your destination faster, but it is the time you spend on your saddle. Yeah, the lesser brakes will be easier to reach your destination on time. The lesser brakes. And on highways, as I always say, there are a few principles like, if you're riding on a highway, always remember wherever there is a U-turn, wherever there is a U-turn or a village road adjoining to the highway, whether there are vehicles or not, one principle is you have to slow down. Most of the accident happens on that junction, those are the junction, on U-turn or the road adjoining to the highway from the village. The majority of the accident happen there. One thing. Second is always keep your motorcycle towards left and continuously also have a watch on your rear view mirror at who is behind you. And suppose
many don't keep this rear view mirror. They think it is some kind of show there, and they don't use the
rear view mirror is your lifesaver.
Correct, absolutely.
People don't use it, but it is
second. Right. My next question is, as a tourer or as a tourist, what is it that you would advise these bikers to do?
I've seen a lot of places in Ladakh also. People, new bikers, I may say, or new riders. they litter around a lot. That chips packet and biscuit packets and plastic bottles. Try to avoid
Hmm.
that. We have to respect the nature. What we do on ride is I carry two flasks along with me. So wherever I'm buying a
Okay.
water, I would fill my both flask and leave the bottle there. And whatever
Oh,
waste, yeah,
perfect.
yes, and whatever waste, like biscuits and toffees and chips or whatever we are carrying along as a snack.
Hmm.
What we do is we have a small plastic packet in our luggage in our saddle bag. We
Hmm.
put everything in one place and wherever we find a proper dustbin, we dump it there.
Cool.
That is
Yeah,
one thing.
that's something. Yeah.
Hmm.
And how do I mean? So you have been to Ladakh, you have been to so many places.
Hmm.
How do the locals treat you, or rather, how should we be treating the locals when we go as tourists to those places?
See what happens, lot of time, a lot of people who don't know how to behave there, they end up fighting up or they end up insulting the locals there. Because what exposure you have in a metro, definitely they are not going to have. So when they see something, a beautiful, good bike or expensive bike,
Hmm.
they tend to get cautious, get crazy. अरे क्या है भाई, let us see and let us see what it is. बोल के. And you need to respect
Hmm.
them and tell them what it is instead of hey Bajua, don't touch and all that shit. Because what happens, they are also humans and they get hurt. And people in mountains are very
Absolutely.
sweet. They are very sweet. They are very helpful also.
Yes.
So you have to behave with them properly, and they are very helpful rather.
Yeah. So yeah, that is part of the responsible tourism, I guess, where we have to support the locals and be kind to them and understand that they have not seen what you have seen, and you have not seen what they see regularly.
Yes,
So if you want cooperation from them, you have to be really nice to them and give them the due respect that they are there and they are there to help you out.
yes, very much.
That's amazing. Yeah. So Mehul joined in just now. Mehul, you can't see Prithu Bhai because Prithu Bhai is becoming Mr. India today, and he's having some technical issue with his camera, so that's the reason why you're unable to see his face. Unfortunately, yes, that is the problem with it. So Prithu, Abhishek wanted also to know that you have a business, you save up with your business and all that. But what about those who do not have that option on there? How do they budget out their tours?
See, budgeting, this does come a lot of times to a lot of riders, keep on pinging me on this. If you're doing
I
a
know it's a very common question, but
common question,
still,
see, ultimately the fact is you need money.
yes.
That is a fact. But there are a lot of options there where you can save in money on ride. Like a lot of places now they
Mm-hmm.
are having hostels
Uh-huh.
where you end up getting a room or a dormitory for about 300 400 rupees. Or
Mm-hmm.
else if you're on the Ladakh on those belts you have a lot of economical homestays for 300 400 rupees. And if you're not if you're
Mm-hmm.
traveling across the India, like South India or some other places also, one thing is there are a lot of ashrams which come up. Small ashrams are there, Gurdwara
Okay.
is there, where you get a
Uh,
budgeted stay for about 200 300 rupees.
okay.
That is where you can save your money or your
Hmm.
lodging. Petrol, fuel, you can't help it out. You have to refill your bike if you have to go. But as per stay, there are options like hostels. There are ashrams are there. A lot of ashrams are there who give you stay there
Uh,
for budget for 200 300 rupees.
hmm.
So that is how you can plan. Like ashrams and gurudwara and mutts are almost everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Such thing happened, while we were riding back from Munabao. So
Hmm.
we had to go to Bikaner, not Bikaner, Barmer. But
Uh,
unfortunately, it was too late, and I forgot the village name. We went into a small village where
hmm.
there were no hotels. So we
Okay.
found out one ashram We
Mm-hmm.
got two rooms, each room for 250 rupees for
Okay.
for twin accommodation. So
Mm-hmm.
that is quite cheap actually. So if you
Yeah,
want, if you're
that's
a,
quite cheap.
and second thing is, fuel you have to fuel up. There is no other option. What you
Right.
can do is, have your heavier breakfast in the morning and try to have something light on the in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can save money also because that is the only option. And
Right.
basically, what happens, I've seen a lot of people having heavy food in the afternoon, and they said that after a few kilometers ride, they get sleepy. So I always
Yeah.
say
Very
your
true.
heavy breakfast, very light lunch, and heavy dinner, no issues.
Mm.
But your lunch should be light,
Okay.
very light. No, like
Mm.
not much oily. Like in case of I'm
Mm.
a vegetarian, but I have eggs. So what I do is, on highways whenever I'm riding in the afternoon, either I have two rotis or dal or two rotis and anda burji. That's what I have.
So if you eat simple food, I mean the local food, then yes, you can save a lot. And if you do not look for any luxuries and just go and stay in a budgeted hotel or an ashram or hostel or hostels, yes, you can save a lot on that too as well. Thank you very much, Prutuda, for that. So Abhishek says bananas and parleji. I don't like parleji. So
But banana, yes, 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 banana. I have a lot of time. I have bananas on highways. So in the
yeah,
afternoon,
bananas
if
are
I would
good
really,
option.
yes, really, if I don't want to have anything, I just stop over in a village and have three to four banana. That is no enough for me. Take about 4 or 5 hours of ride.
So, Pruthida, thanks for joining us on this lovely on this session. It was lovely talking to you. Unfortunately, we couldn't see you online,
Hmm.
but yeah, आपके photographs देख के हम खुश होने वाले हैं अभी और क्या.
Yeah, hope I've given some proper answer because this is the first time for me also on live. I've never been live before on that.
Yeah, thanks for giving us this exclusive interview. I know you have never ever given any
Hmm.
live interview or any as such,
Hmm.
uh, conference uh,
Hmm.
for and your experiences. So
Someone
I
is
feel really
asking,
honored to have you
yeah,
on.
someone is asking about was the standard 500 better on the Ladakh ride? Like,
Yeah.
500 is always a good motorcycle for Ladakh region. It has good low end torque and because of the height, the vehicle is always properly balanced. So it's always a good option for at least for the hilly region. No, 500 or Himalayan are the best motorcycle.
Cool. But yeah, so last question. You
Yeah.
collect lot of watches. How many bikes have you collected?
I have uh, about 13 or 14 bikes, which
13
includes
or
my
14
vintage
bikes?
also. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I have a vintage Lambrettas, 1959, 60 Lambrettas, and I have a 62 Java. I have a RX 100. I've got a Machismo 500, Thunderbird 500 AVL, which is a limited edition. I have
Oh,
Versys 300 and a Tiger 800 and Himalayan.
awesome, awesome.
So,
एक दिन सब बाइक का एक फोटो निकाल के जरूर पोस्ट कीजिए. We would love to see them online.
yeah, my regular bikes I have posted, but few bikes are lying in go down. Actually, I was into vintage bike collection in 2004, 2005, but eventually,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it because it takes a lot of time and effort to maintain them, keep them started. Like watches,
Yeah.
they are kept in a almara and they keep lying there. But it's not
Mm.
the motorcycles because you need to keep them running, and that
Yeah.
takes hell lot of time to keep them running. You need to leave your job and
Absolutely.
leave your business and just be
Sit
around the
behind your
mechanic.
bike.
That was not practically
Yeah.
possible. So no, I stopped collecting motorcycles, but I have few couple of them which are still with me, like Lambrettas and Javas and other stuff.
Cool. So Abhishek has just one more question for you. He asks, is the carburetor better or the EFI?
See, the new generation motorcycle, definitely EFIs are uh, very reliable than the carburetor, and performance wise also they are very good, because EFI models have an O2 sensor which automatically calibrate the supply of fuel and air to the motorcycle. The prior Royal Enfield, which initially came in 2014, EFI had an issue because they are lacking of O2 sensor. Now the O2 sensor have come. So with the O2
Okay.
sensor, EFI is a better option, because
So
don't need to
even in
keep on jetting around.
right. So even in the mountains, you feel the EFI is much better than the carburetor.
Yes, because what happens in a higher altitude, you need to keep on adjusting the air fuel inflow.
Hmm.
So on an EFI, you do need to, because the whole thing is, EFI is managing everything with the O2 sensor, because it has an O2 sensor. It senses the oxygen level and automatically adjusts the fuel and air mixture into the machine.
Right.
So it's always better to have an EFI.
Good. So Mohit wants to know which bike you will recommend for Indian roads for touring purposes.
I would say the best motorcycle economically and performance wise and maintenance wise is Bajaj Dominar 400.
Okay, that's a good
Because
one. Yes, I
simple,
also have it.
since I've been riding for many years, what I felt as a rider, a motorcycle, what you need in a motorcycle is a motorcycle quick to 100, a motorcycle which can cruise effortlessly, for a motorcycle with a comfortable seat and comfortable suspension. And Bajaj Dominar has everything in that. It cruises
Okay,
about 160 on top end, and it effortlessly does 120. It's a very stable motorcycle and economical too. The spares aren't such expensive. The spares are cheap also,
hmm.
and there are no maintenance issue, because Deepak has had about 35,000 kilometers with only one chain sprocket and one fork on replacement, and brake pads are a general wear and tear. So I would always recommend a Bajaj Dominar as of now, the best motorcycle available for touring, and it also handles a little bit of off-roading also.
And what about Himalayan? You own a Himalayan. Is that a good option?
Himalayan is again an issue, because Himalayan on a plain road you get little bored, because it's stressed out at 115, 120. It's by the motorcycle stressed out. So once they stressed out, you won't feel that maza on that riding on the highway. So basically, Himalayan is very good for mountain biking.
Hmm.
If you are only into Ladakh or Himalayas, like I do, I'm mostly into hills. So if you're only into hills, then Himalayan is a better option. The BS5 or 6, whatever is coming, is no more refined with less issues. Obviously, there's Royal Enfield. There are going to be issues, but it's a good bike for people who are mostly traveling on off road and on hills, not for the plain roads. So if you are having a mix and match, mountains and plain road, then I would recommend to go for a Bajaj Dominar. That is the best
Awesome.
motorcycle as of now available.
Okay, and Praveen Sahu wants to know which was a better experience for you, the winter Ladakh or the hot Rajasthan ride?
Ah, when my hot Rajasthan ride.
Because
I
that
was
was more challenging than the winter Ladakh, right? Right? I
yes,
mean,
yes.
uh, with pushing you to the extreme limits of staying on the road at 56 degrees. That's something blood boiling.
Because, winter, cold you can somehow escape, but with heat you cannot escape. You don't have any escape for heat. If you're having
Absolutely.
more, if you have a more cold, you can put up some more woolens on you. But on summer, on heat, you can't do anything. You have to bear it. In short,
True.
it's like everything is possible. Uh, and only thing is you have to be mentally ready for it. Unless and until you are mentally ready to do it, you will not be able to do, because if you take my case, I had a hole in my heart that is called ASD, atrial septal defect.
Oh,
That has come from childhood. And every child has that. But eventually, while we grow up, it closes. Mine was open, and I didn't knew it. I done about 8 times, 9 times Ladakh and 10 times when I was up for a Shenkula ride, and in one day notice I had to leave to Ladakh from Hyderabad. So when I reached Leh, I had a mild chest pain. Now because I'm going old, I'm 40 plus now, so
आप
things are
बुड्ढे
going to
हो
go.
गए.
बुड्ढे हो गए तो थोड़ा बहुत तो क्या इंजन तो हाथ दिखा ही देगा यार. So I had a mild chest pain, so I went to the hospital and got my ECG done. So doctor said there is some issue. Nothing in near future had happened, but there is some connectivity issue in the heart, which you need to
Okay.
go and check. And my guys there were that, दादा आप तो आप चले जाओ, there is a heart issue. मैं बोला यार राइड पे आया हूँ तो राइड मार के जाऊंगा साला, इसी का जो होगा देखेंगे. आई डोंट नो दैट वो जुनून होता है भाई, राइड मारना ही मारना है. And we completed the whole Shinkul ride without, I think, without toughest till date. The toughest ride was Shinkula for me from Padum.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So when what I feel is, one has to be mentally prepared. That passion has to be there, that fire has to be there. I have to do it. And I believe I have a lot of questions on AMS also. See, AMS is there. Definitely it hurts. Definitely it sucks you. But if you go, generally, I always tell people go from Srinagar because you are slowly climbing up and your body is getting acclimatized to the oxygen levels there. Secondary is on AMS. There are two things. One is your body. Second is your mental situation. The more mentally strong you are, the chances of less getting affected by AMS. You have to be mentally strong. The moment you try to drain out, you will get drained out with AMS. So you have to be mentally strong that I am all well. अभी उससे अरे मैं बीमार पड़ रहा हूँ, अरे मुझे सांस लेने तकलीफ हो रही. You are ultimately getting into the AMS. So you have to be mentally strong, keep calm, move yourself slowly, and be relaxed. Nothing is going to happen on AMS. And try not to take medicines. A lot of people have that. Oh, Aarti Kapoor leke jayenge Kapoor. Then they say we'll take Dimox. Don't get into all that.
Right.
That's all not required. If you are mentally fit, nothing is going to bring you down. So I also had an issue once. And in winter Ladakh too, when we were going to Chumatang, I did not ride for one day. My head was paining like hell. We went to the Komorori base camp, and there they had given me in half an hour oxygen, and they are giving me medicines also. So I asked the doctor, so I am little comfortable. Do I need to take medicines? He said only take it when you feel uneasiness. So I wasn't feeling that uneasiness, so I avoided the medicines. And if you are taking medicine like Dimox, always remember post taking the medicines, have lots of water.
Correct.
Dimox
Absolutely.
needs lot of water. So never forget to skip water. So you need to have lot of water after that. That is one thing on AMS.
That was a great insight into how to manage the AMS. I started having the local gurgur chai that they have, their butter tea, and that kept me going most of the time, or the namkeen chai that they drink, which keeps the blood thin and it pushes you, as in it doesn't get you into that AMS zone much.
I think Umesh is asking for a TVS Apache 200.
Yes.
Well, Umesh, any bike, any bike can go to Ladakh. In fact, if you remember, Bajaj had a motorcycle called a scooter come a motorcycle mix of that. That was called M50. If you remember, Bajaj M50.
Yes.
So I have seen two Chennai guys. Yeah, M50. Then the upgraded version was M80, the 80cc two-stroke motorcycle. So that motorcycle, two guys from Chennai. I met them in Ladakh. They were riding from Chennai to Ladakh on that M50, 50cc or 80cc motorcycle. So CC doesn't matter. Only thing is, you may feel little power drained out, lack of power and on the higher altitude, but you can manage. People have done it on M50 and people have done it on CT100 also. So bike is not an issue. You can always do on any bike.
Right. So you can actually tour on in India on any motorcycle, provided you maintain it correctly.
Yes.
And you have to take very good care of it, no matter where you are. Or
if you ask me now, I'll tell you. I've been on Tiger on Ladakh. I've been on Himalayan Ladakh. I've been in Machisman Ladakh. I would prefer. I loved the Himalayan Ladakh rather than the Tiger, being a more powerful bike. But I feel Himalayan was a better performer on Ladakh because it was had a lightweight and sufficient power to do it.
Correct. Thank you so much, Pruthuda, for all those insights and sharing all your experiences. It was really worthwhile listening into you, and I hope you enjoyed the time as well with us on this
Yes, very much.
show. And I hope to do another session with you, but then at that time I would love to see you on the video. So
Yes.
thank you so much,
Thank you,
Pruthuda, for
thank you so much,
spending all the
Shilpa,
time.
and thank you all the viewers. Thanks a lot. Hope I've given
Yes,
a
thank
proper
you for
reply
the
because
viewers.
I'm never into live and all. So anyway, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. And we will be coming up with another such great rider in our roading expeditions very soon. And stay tuned in for the announcements that keep happening on our Instagram ID, Roaring Cycles. See you there and have a lovely time. And be safe, although it is unlock one, it is not really an unlock one. You still need to take care of your health and maintain the social distancing also. So take care, have a lovely evening ahead, and see you all soon on another show this Sunday. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you, Pruthuda,
Bye
once
bye.
again.
Thank you. Bye bye. See
Have a
you.
good
Bye.
evening. Bye bye.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you.